Hi everyone, I was just playing with the Chat GPT and wanted to explore a couple of features with you. Maybe I will use its APIs to build my future applications. Here, let's ask some smart questions to the Chat GPT. How can I build Uber Eats clone? Okay, this is a simple question. Maybe let's see what ChatGPT is asking, telling us conduct market research. Okay, define features based on the market research and all. I mean, it's all about choosing the how you approach building the Uber Eats clone or Swiggy clone application. Let's ask some other question. Build Swiggy clone app. Okay, building a Swiggy clone involves platform. Okay, what all things we need? I was thinking about some technical implementation. So essential includes customer, order, restaurant, receive orders. It's like some generic because we are not asking ChatGPT to write the code. It's all about what all different features, what are the different requirements, all the different like delivery system, authentication system, all these things you need to build. Let's ask, let's say Node.js code for reading S3 bucket, right? So now it should send us some code, right? And I've been just exploring ChatGPT from some time, and I'm using it even for getting the code snippet sometimes. Like even like if you do the Stack Overflow search to just get some code, instead of that you can use ChatGPT and it gives you really smart answers. I was sometimes impressed with the answers which I'm getting. Obviously, this answer it is giving from some documentation which is available online. Okay. Let's say write data to Dynamo DB from Node.js APIs. Okay, so these are like some code snippets, but it's really helpful like how to read and write to the Dynamo DB. This is a simple question. It has initialized AWS config and then Dynamo DB, and then here we are just passing the table and then doing the put item call just to write the data to the DynamoDB, and here you need to pass the AWS region to get the DynamoDB client from AWS SDK. Okay, so I will just say build CRUD APIs using nextjs. We do lots of nextjs API building, right? So here what it needs to be done, you need a nextjs CLI, then generate a simple app, and then you will get this particular module names. It's like a generic answer. I'm not highly impressed. It's all about he just creating a simple CRUD which is already there somewhere in the documentation. But you can ask a smart question like build nextjs 5 filter to filter exceptions. So stop generating and let's ask this. So we need to build a simple filter exception. Okay, this is using some pipe, and what this pipe is doing, yeah, this is nice. What it is doing is it is filtering all the exceptions, and for each and every exceptions we can send a custom messages. Okay, you can see we are sending bad request if constructor.names for 500 requests. So this is like a custom interceptor, custom filter we have created in the nextjs. I mean, I didn't create, this ChatGPT has created for us, and I can just copy and paste it and I can just use it. This is how you will use this filter we have added. You can add it in the app module also in the main.ts like app.use global. Okay, now let's say create auth middleware in nextjs for routes. So here I'm asking, create me auth middleware. Auth middleware will validate maybe a JWT token and for a particular routes, and if the everything is good, then only it will forward the request. So auth middleware, it needs to have a use method, and here because we need to replace our authentication logic, so it's smart enough how to write this. Here we will write a validation token validation mechanism, and this is how you will integrate this middleware in the code. So what is the summary? You don't need my channel, you need ChatGPT to Google out things and just use it by yourself. Okay, let's say Validate payload using class validator. I didn't specify nextjs or express. Let's see what it does, but it's by default taking nextjs for validation. And here how we do it, we create a simple class, right? Class is a simple DTO, and that DTO will validate, okay, this is the payload, and this is how I'm going to validate. So here we are using is email, is string, is defined, these annotations. Based on that, your payload will be validated, and this is how you just need to add a validation pipe either at the controller level or at the particular method level. New validation pipe, this is the DTO, and this is how we will be able to validate the simple nextjs payload. Okay, build Kafka microservice. Let's see what it does. Is it picking the nextjs microservice or simple Nodejs? So we are going to build a Kafka consumer, right? We can get a Kafka client from the Kafka node. We can also use a Kafka JS instead of Kafka node, and it is just a simple consumer, right? And you will write a simple main.ts. This is a consumer and this is a producer. Producer is consuming from this test topic, and this is your producer. Producer is actually producing the message using producer.send, and then producer.onError, you just send a callback, and then you can attach this to your main.ts. Here this is a smart nextjs microservice. That's what I was not expecting, but yeah, that's good. So it is creating a simple nextjs microservice, and here we are passing Kafka client and then starting the simple service, and we are creating a nextjs Kafka listener. I mean, one is a nextjs microservice, and then there is a producer client for the nextjs. Oh, really impressive. Now let's ask some questions. Write data to write lambda handler, lambda to listen messages from DynamoDB stream. Okay, these are the things which we do daily. Like there is a DynamoDB stream. I want to write a lambda trigger which will listen to all the stream messages. Stream events are coming from the lambda. Let's say you do lambda read, write. So there is a lambda trigger. So whenever the write happens, we are going to invoke, AWS is going to invoke that lambda. So this is like handler. For all the records, we are just going to print that, right? So this is a simple lambda handler. You can deploy and you can test it. This is a simple resource configuration, right? Event.records contains the multiple records, and this is the DynamoDB stream records. Now you need to know, okay, what is the content of DynamoDB stream record? Explain more on DynamoDB. So let's build our answers, questions on top of that. So what is the content of DynamoDB stream? Okay, I want to see the JSON object. Event.records contains the array of DynamoDB record, which includes the item itself. Okay, I mean, really impressive. Okay, this is what I need. These are the properties which you get in the DynamoDB stream, right? Now I will stop it. Add DLQ for SQS lambda handler, right? I'm adding dead letter Q for the SQS. Let's say if I'm not able to train the message, then it's a DLQ should be able to process that message. So let's say what it does. To add a DLQ, what you need to do, create a SQS queue, and then you need to go to AWS console and configure DLQ, and I will stop here. What I will do is create SQS and SNS using AWS SDK. Create SQS and SNS using AWS SDK. I think I'm going to spend more time here because I really liking it, like how we can create a simple, not AWS SDK, it's AWS CDK. I'm sorry for that. We need to change our question. AWS CDK. AWS CDK is a cloud development kit that will help us to create AWS resources. So here you can see it is using AWS CDK lib, and it's very smart. And here this is how we are creating a stack and then creating a simple queue And for creating SNS, we will just use sns.topic, and then we can configure even topic.add subscription. So whenever, SQS can send a message to the SNS topic, and then you can add a lambda trigger to the SNS. So here we will add another thing, add a lambda trigger to SNS topic AWS CDK. These are code snippets, but there is no doubt this Chat GPT is very smart when it comes to the code, because I was exploring it from a couple of days and I'm getting a fascinating results. I know these are some code snippets which are available in some blog or somewhere. You can see it is adding the lambda, and then it is adding the lambda permissions, and then it is, I think, either add subscription or add event source topic.add subscription. So whenever you send a message to the topic, this lambda will be triggered, and we can add a simple lambda handler. So this is how we are adding a permission, lambda function.add permission to invoke, and we are passing the topic ARN, and AWS CDK synth will synthesize it, and CDK deploy will deploy this. AWS CDK commands, which I'm not able to recall all the time. CDK init, CDK deploy, CDK synth, CDK destroy. Okay, let's ask some more smarter questions. And what I will do is, what can be the complex question which I'm just thinking? Build APIs for Swiggy clone restaurant service. Okay, it will just give us a simple implementation of some CRUD operation. That is still good. Obviously, I can't expect this AI to build me a Swiggy clone and build a restaurant service. But yeah, you can see it has connected a database, and then it has created a restaurant schema which contains a state, city, JIF, phone, cuisines, menu, and then it is building these APIs. App.post restaurant, it is creating a restaurant, then app.get restaurants, it is giving me all the list of the restaurants, and similarly get restaurant by IDs. It's a simple CRUD operation which we have created. I didn't create, ChatGPT has done that. And let's say what else we can do. I can spend more and more time here, but this is really nice what it is doing. So ChatGPT is smart, and you can use it for for taking help instead of going to Stack Overflow and trying to find the implementation or going to some tutorial. So maybe ChatGPT is taking away my YouTube content also, because nobody will be coming to my YouTube channel to learn something. They can learn it from here. Okay, so let's see. Neo4j data insert using Nodejs. So there is a Neo4j is a graph database, and we will see how we can just use a Neo4j to write APIs and insert the data. There is a Neo4j driver. You need to have a Neo4j graph database running somewhere, and then you will just create a session and then just write a query. It just only it has a smart query because this is a graph database, and you can see we are passing params, and then we are just initializing the sessions, and for all the records we have, we are just writing it. Okay, so I think I can stop here. We will just try to analyze this ChatGPT more in our future sessions, but we have done a lot, right? And most of the answers were accurate. I'm using this ChatGPT recently for writing the blogs, extracting the content from here and there, and also taking the help for, I heard people are using it to crack the interviews. So let's say React lifecycle, because it will listen, it will think, and it will answer you properly. So you just need to plug in some mechanism so that it can listen to your questions. I won't suggest you to use this, but you can see it is giving you these answers one by one. JavaScript closures, because sometimes this is the important questions which everybody asks, right? In JavaScript, and somebody is reading this message and answering it, the answer is correct, whatever, and he's cracking the interview. Okay. Okay, I mean, let's ask some other complex questions, because I feel like I'm more addicted here. JavaScript type inheritance. So what is a prototypal inheritance? This is a simple question, right? And sometimes, and you would be thinking, meanwhile you can get the snippet. Okay, this is how you can implement the prototypal inheritance by just using classes, because JavaScript is all about functions. Now in ES6 we have a classes that is doing inheritance by just doing extends, but earlier we were writing functions and function prototypes. Okay, so that's all I have. You can just plug and play. I will be building some videos which talks about, okay, this is how you can use ChatGPT APIs and can build a smart applications.